Good morning, everyone. It is I, Jules, here with Scott.
Hello.
And it's not a news piece, so don't you worry.
Well...
Don't you even worry that I've made a jingle for me and Scott, which is possibly coming very soon.
Have we?
Yeah, so today we're talking about Tomb Raider. Not the game.
No.
We're talking about
We might as well be talking about the game, to be fair.
Yes, because there has been a trailer that's just been released of the new Tomb Raider film, which is coming out in 2018, and it's based on the reboot game that was released by Square Enix back in 2013.
Well, they published it. Crystal Dynamics.
Yes, fair play, fair play. Now, I thought it was a very good game.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, I absolutely love the game. I mean, they went way too heavy on the whole beating the living hell out of Lara, making you care about her. The developers said some horrible, like the stupid malign thing in the lead up to development release about you'll want to care about her, and there's all these weird rapey overtones about it, but it played very well. And then Rise of the Tomb Raider was awesome as well. I like this new direction.
Yes, so that was the direction of the games, and the film seems to be following suit. So we've just watched the trailer.
What was your thoughts? Because we haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah, that's kind of like what we're going to do now. We're just freeballing on this.
Freeballing.
I think it looks pretty good.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I think that there's I'm looking for a sort of silly action film, and I feel like this might be able to fill the void. I thought that what was her name?
Alicia Vikander.
She seems pretty good in the role. She looked spot on with all of the bandaged leg, for example, and the usual stuff. Well, basically, the story looks like it's following young Lara Croft loses her dad, then goes on a mission that he started, which involves this group called Trinity and this thing called the Mother of Death. Is that what it was called?
Well, there was the whole spirit of the island.
Yeah,
thing,
some sort of spirit of the island, and she's got to stop it. My only problem with that is I don't like any sort of film which is like, you're the only one that can save the world, you regular human.
Yeah.
If you had superpowers, then yeah, I get it. But it's kind of like, cool, should I just phone the police then, or phone some like? So it's like,
can we all go in?
It's kind of like, no, you can't ask for any outside help. This is a test.
Yeah, don't show anybody this video.
This is the GCSEs. You can't get any help here now, lads.
So I'm not necessarily negative on it. I was just really meh. I don't think Vikander looks that great in the role. I think they've cast her because they want to do the whole point of the 2013 one was this survivalist story. It was all about Lara being stranded on the island, and you know, she learns to become stronger. She gets the pickaxe. She learns how to kill. She gets more accustomed to killing. She becomes the desensitized twin pistol toting badass that we know and love. Yeah, that I think is going to go by the wayside once you start doing this much bigger, more generic action blockbuster thing. I mean, the way that the trailer's edited is just like generic film editing 101. I mean, and all that stuff I don't like. And Vikander, I don't think every action scene that she's in, especially at the beginning of the trailer, just looks like she's bricking it. She's not like I mean, which is maybe why they cast her, but I just don't think she looks confident in the role. I
would disagree and say that you need a person who can play Lara Croft in these developing years between these 2 points of being, you know, the sad loss of the father figure to the sort of, like you said, the gun-toting badass. You need somebody who looks like they are uncomfortable killing. Looks like they are uncomfortable with action. The thing with Nathan Drake is that he is cocky, assured. You know that he's going to make it through because of the fact that even if it's Drake versus the world, he's going to do it. Yeah. Whereas with Lara, it's kind of like, I understand why they're going for this whole like they did with James Bond in Casino Royale. You can make mistakes if it's your first mission. And I think that this vulnerability, it actually will play off better because that development into point A to point B will be much more satisfying.
I hope so.
They do run the risk, though, of if you do this, you might maybe piss off a few people by basically saying, oh, is it because she's a woman that she can't do it?
Well, no, I don't think so.
Not, hopefully that's not what they're going to do. Hopefully they're not going to be like, make a big deal of the fact that she is a woman who is vulnerable learning to kill.
Well, I mean, I
hope that isn't the case.
That was one of the biggest criticisms of the 2013 game, was that obviously when she gets on the island, like the dude that Walton Goggins is playing in the new trailer, the guy that's like, I'm glad you came here, or whatever, that guy that like is on the island, like they had all those tribe that were already on the island, and like obviously they're very male dominated, and they had all that weird rape controversy where it was like Lara Croft rape scene, which didn't actually happen. There wasn't a rape scene in Tomb Raider, but this guy like stands over her quite domineering, and that got inferred.
We did have a scene where he basically, there's a bit where he's like touching her face like that, and again, I don't want that to be so. That's not very smooth, mate. You need to sort that out. Take care of your sin.
I could just let it blow out.
So yeah, the trailer was very action heavy, as you would expect. There was kind of some emotional ties. I think the dialogue was probably the weakest part of the trailer. Everything seemed to be very on the nose. Like you are the only one that can do this. You should go to this island.
Yeah.
Isn't world a bad place? Here are some guns. Like,
see, the thing, like, that's the thing. I think that the final shot in the trailer, where she has the twin pistols and her hair's totally different, I think that's going to be the final shot of the whole movie. Because I think that if the story of the 2013 Raider was like her becoming Tomb Raider, and she doesn't get the twin pistols until near the end, or pretty much the final fight, and so I think that's going to be the thing. This is her becoming Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
But I just, like, it doesn't, I don't see the point in this, because you've already got a cinematically focused game in the 2013. It's like, if you replicate that, which they are doing, the costume is bang on.
Yeah.
And they've replicated some of the camera angles
even
too.
the set piece of the airplane.
Yeah, the airplane,
like,
and
that was so shot for shot almost.
And like, obviously another thing with that game, part and parcel of the whole you'll want to protect her thing, is that the deaths in that game were horrifically violent and visceral, because they wanted to make you go, oh god, there's a lot of consequence to her adventuring. So they've replicated all that stuff in the movie, but then it's like, well, what do you bring into the table other than replicating it? And so
to answer that question, maybe it is because of the fact that there hasn't really been a good video game movie. So maybe they're going, actually, if we just basically base it on the game that is cinematic in its approach, maybe we'll actually have more success. I mean, the Tomb Raider films that came before with Angelina Jolie, unfortunately, are one of the better video game films that we have. No, but seriously, that just shows how poor the pool is.
It's true, but
the second one was absolute dirge, but the first one is just like, it's bad, but when you compare it to like the Resident Evil films and stuff like that,
they were great.
Oh dear, guys!
Not genuinely, but like not like objectively.
We're not even talking.
They're great. That's a fun franchise.
Anyway, so
it's better than Lara Croft.
Maybe that is why they're going for this whole like, we're just going to replicate.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, actually, when he ripped the skin off and threw it at the church, that was actually pretty. That was banging, actually. Anyway, so maybe they've just done this replication of the video game. But if that's the case, it marks quite an interesting movement in cinema history, because you basically will have, instead of video games imitating the silver screen or the video game, like the tie-ins and stuff like that, this could be leading the charge in the other direction. I
would just say that what can they bring to the table? Like the quandary that they have is like, if you replicate the game identically, then what was the point in making it? If you go a different direction and you make Lara doesn't feel like she's Tomb Raider, she doesn't feel like Lara Croft, then you've done it wrong. They can't really do it right. What is this film going to do, really? Other than just prod Tomb Raider fans and go, hey, Tomb Raider, remember Tomb Raider?
Yeah, but then
it's not the one you know and love. It's kind of the one that was pretty awesome, but like didn't catch on in the way that they wanted it to.
It's an interesting one. And speaking of interesting, let's talk about that sound.
God!
The sound design, the sound design for the majority of the trailer is, like we said before, very stark action, sort of like boom, 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 sort of thing. And then finally, you get to the end. She's running up an airplane wing, and it's cracking underneath the pressure, and she's jumping to reach the cockpit, and she just goes, but the thing is, it cuts out all other music.
It's very Gervaisian in that.
Yeah, you just hear her scream, and there's no music there.
Why?
That made me laugh.
I tell you what I think that's for. Remember when we were growing up in the 90s, and the big deal with Tomb Raider was all the sexual noises that she made when she climbed up ledges, not leverages.
I was dealing with my parents' divorce at this time, so no, I don't remember that.
There was that whole thing of like over-sexualized Lara, and whenever she would climb up a ledge, she was always like, or make some sex noise. I think they've put that in there because it's like a little callback. Remember when Tomb Raider was known for doing all these stupid noises?
Yeah, I guess.
But it just doesn't work, because the noise that like on set, or in ADR, like after the fact, they would have said like, either on the day can you make a noise when you leap across the thing, or in ADR, which is like when they replace dialogue, can you just do like a little jumping noise, and then she's gone, and then it's just nothing.
Very weird. And
hilarious.
It's a strange note to leave the trailer on, to be fair, because I was buying into the sort of like what you would describe as being generic action thing, and I thought that it looks like a bit simple fun, but I think that as the final impression that you leave an audience with in a trailer should be really important, and leaving it with maybe isn't the strongest. However,
go on.
However,
yes,
I am going to go see this film.
Well, we're going to see it, can't we?
Because the company pays me to do it.
I tell you what we didn't see. I don't think... Did you see Assassin's Creed?
No, I saw it of my own accord.
Did you see Assassin's Creed?
Unfortunately, I have seen that on my own accord.
What was that like for you?
When I said before that the video game pool, film pool was pretty dry, that's at bedrock. I'm really not a fan of that.
What do you think, just quickly, what do you think is the worst video game adaptation
without
so
Prince
far?
of Persia?
You can have Prince of Persia if you want.
Probably be Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, well,
with its foam-suited nemesis.
It's got to be something that Uwe Boll did. Far Cry or Postal.
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain.
Yeah,
okay.
that is hands down the worst.
I think the Resi movies are good fun, man. Like,
I mean,
they're bad, but
yeah, they're bad fun. But I just think because I love Resident Evil so much, it's painful. It's painful.
Yeah.
To watch this foam-suited thing go.
A foam dog, just like leaping at someone.
Anyway, that's been our trailer reaction for the Tomb Raider film that's coming out in 2018.
Yes.
Let us know if you're going to go see it and what you thought of the trailer, and if whether or not it made you go, or just, So, as always, I've been Jules.
I've been Scott.
He has been Scott indeed, and we will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.